Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are replacing wheel studs on an STi. Not my STi, it's actually Amir's. Thank you, Uncle. We're going to start by removing the rear brake caliper, which will then enable us to remove the rear rotor, which will give us access to the hub. So Amir's in the garage looking for an extension to remove the 17mm bolts that are holding the caliper onto the knuckle. Okay, caliper's off. Now we gotta take the rotor off. It's kind of playing hard to get. So we're gonna take a mallet here and beat it up a little bit. And that should then release the rotor. Nice. Sweet. Cool, so now that the hub is exposed, we are gonna press out the studs using a tie rod remover. A 3-prong tie rod remover. Super easy. So 2 prongs on the back, 1 prong on the front on the stud, and we're just going to tighten down on the tool and it'll pop out the studs. Okay, now that the studs are removed, it's time to put in our new sweet-ass ARP studs. Too high, go a little lower. Yeah, there we go. Beautiful. Thank you, Vanna. And the first thing we're going to do is put some grease on the splines of each stud, just to help draw them in a little bit better. So we got some Staplex premium red grease, but I think any grease will work, I'm not sure. We're just putting them on for funsies. Funsies. Okay, so now that we got the stud on the hub, we're going to use a stud insulation tool. Essentially, it's just a giant nut that you use to draw the stud back into the hub. So Amir's tightening down the tool now, and then we don't have a socket for that size, so we're going to use a crescent wrench, and it helps to put the car in gear, so your force is going to turning in and drawing in the stud versus turning the hub. Right now we're having a problem where the hub is turning way too easily, so a lot of the energy that we're putting into the tool to pull the stud in is just going to turning the hub. So we're going to jack up the car and lower the other side. Right now both the entire axle's up in the air, so we're going to drop one tire down on the ground and hopefully that'll help hold the hub in place. Okay, we got the passenger rear tire down on the ground, and we're going to see if this helps with the hub a little bit. There we go. So once the stud bottoms out, it'll become really hard to turn the tool, and we know it's fully seated. When installing studs, it's helpful to have thick-ass forearms.
Biceps.
And biceps.
Huge biceps.
Wait, let me see that. Do that again. Wait. Yeah, there. Oh! All right, so now that the caliper is back on, we're going to torque the caliper to the bracket, and for the 2018 STi with the Brembo brakes, the torque spec on those bolts are 54 foot-pounds. First try! Okay, so the fronts, or the rears are done, and now we're moving on to the fronts. And the process is essentially the same. Take the wheel off, take the brake caliper off, take the rotor off, and then use the tie rod remover to press out the studs. So Amir's going to go ahead and do that now and demonstrate that with style. Now that all the studs are out, we're going to put the ARP studs in the front. Same process as before. Grease on the splines and then draw it in with the tool. Just be careful not to put grease on the threads because that will change the torque value that you need to tighten your wheels to. So if you do happen to get grease on the spline or on the threads, you may want to clean them off with brake clean. Now that the studs are in, we're torquing down the caliper back to the bracket. For the 2018 STi, it is 88.5 foot-pounds. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to change